not listening to the scientists.
If we don't change it soon, it's too late.
We're all to blame, and we can all be part of the solution.
Did you get that? I'm at the climate march in New York City, interviewing some people about climate change and what we can do to make it better. Excuse me, what is happening to our planet? Right now we're preparing to go to the protest. We're making all the signs. I'd love to give you guys a little tour of the stuff that we have been working on. Those are the signs that everyone else made, and then come look at the ones that we made. The sign is clearly made by a boy. Imagine spending your whole life ruining the environment only to end up on a big, beautiful sign like this one. We're gonna end fossil fuels today. You trying to pick up a girl at the climate march?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking about putting a couple of leaves in my hair and gluing myself to something. If I glue myself to something, I know I'm going home with some buns, so.
What is your name?
Jack.
Hello, Jack. And have you been good this year?
Yeah, I have.
Those are usually my first two questions.
And is the third one, is he Jewish or Christian?
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm Jewish. Thanks.
What would you like for Hanukkah?
Maybe a better climate?
I'm Rose Abramoff. I'm an earth scientist, a member of Scientist Rebellion. I'm also on the board of directors of the Climate Emergency Fund. We're out here because the voice of the scientific community has really not been properly heard. If that were the case, we would have taken extreme action on the climate crisis and ramped down fossil fuel emissions 40 years ago.
The vibes here are pretty fun for how terrifying all the imagery is. Can you zoom in on that guy's face? See that? What is that? Get the abstract hands reaching to the sky. Okay.
I'm here to convince Kim Kardashian to stop climate change.
Why Kim Kardashian?
I'm gay, and I thought, I can sort of have a voice to her about this.
Do you have any examples from your own life that you've seen climate change kind of happen?
It floods a lot,
Yeah.
and it rains all the time. It's bad. It's hot. It's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
I was imagining if I was good at singing, I'd have a little bit of soul in mine.
And why is everyone dressed up as the Grim Reaper?
Climate change and the pollution that causes climate change is fast-tracking our death. We're holding various executives that push big oil and block progress of renewables.
Have you seen any effects of climate change in your own personal life?
We breathe wildfire smoke in New York City. We see the flooding and the droughts and increased severity of hurricanes all across the country. Climate change is making all of these natural disasters so much worse. So the more that we can educate people, the more hopefully they'll support the solution.
I used to have acres and acres of land, and now it's polar ice caps are melting.
How has it affected using elves and the elves working?
I'm very proud of the elves. They recently unionized, and I, of course, am sharing my profits with the elves.
Excuse me, who do you blame for climate change?
Combination of factors in the system has to change. Fossil fuel industry.
It goes back to the industrial age, but I think it's greed and inactive politicians. People are blamed. It's you need to ride your bike to work, but yet we're still burning fossil fuel and encouraging car adoption, and corporations have way too much power in this country and subsidies.
Is there a small way that we can fix, an average person can help fix the system?
Bringing back community reliance and growing food, kind of shared responsibility because we're such an individualistic culture now.
The Biden administration has continued to expand fossil fuels faster than the previous administration, which is totally astounding to me. We're here to register our discontent. I also did that last week when I chained myself to a drill on the Mountain Valley Pipeline with 5 elder women, which I also think is super legit. We don't know what else to do.
What was it like chaining yourself to a pipe?
I was basically straddling, riding this giant drill that was poised to drill under the Greenbrier River, which is the longest undammed river in the eastern U.S. There's a lot of drilling left to do, and it's all actually poses a massive danger to the local environment, on top of the fact that the amount of emissions are something that we can't afford. It's 90 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. We were locked on for about half a day.
Were you arrested or taken away?
Yeah, we were all arrested. We were risking felony level charges. Some people who had done a similar action earlier were actually charged with felonies. We were the first 6 people to be charged under West Virginia's new critical infrastructure bill because we were on so-called critical infrastructure, which I totally disagree with.
What other celebrities would you like to call upon to stop climate change?
Richard Gere from Pretty Woman, Portia, Ellen's wife.
But not Ellen?
No, she's not. I don't think you can get through to her. Olivia Rodrigo.
She would definitely do it if Paramore said it first.
Well.
I think your latest album is like kind of mid.
I think it's really good.
It's not.
Okay, well.
I'm Peter Kalmus. I'm a NASA climate scientist speaking on my own behalf.
What brought you out today?
We're still expanding fossil fuels, which is insanity, and that's what's causing this heat nightmare that we're in.
And what kind of things can people do in addition to like protesting?
Marching is kind of fine, but it's also started at 1990. Like, we need civil disobedience and higher levels of activism, higher levels of risk. To support those activists who are taking those risks, who are risking arrest, start joining with them. I've been arrested twice for basically standing up to financing of new fossil fuel projects and standing up to private jets. Last year it was in Los Angeles at the JP Morgan Chase building, and then the second one was in Charlotte, North Carolina, in front of a private jet terminal.
Being a scientist, what are some things that you notice about the environment that affect you on a day-to-day basis?
I left Los Angeles because it was getting too hot for me. We were getting heat waves that were 115 degrees Fahrenheit. The trees were all dying in Pasadena, Altadena, where I lived. The trees were dying in the Sierra Nevada mountains where I went to hike. And then the smoke too. Like, we would have wildfires in Los Angeles like for a month. You basically can't escape it anymore, and it's just gonna get worse.
For the past couple years, I've worked for a company that was involved in fossil fuels, and since I've been gone out here in New York, I've realized that it's on people like him who have all this money and who have the power and ability to make the change overnight, really, if they want to.
Did you feel like you were stuck in your old job?
I mean, yeah, I needed money. I lived in Houston, Texas. I grew up there. I went back home to start work. I mean, that's a lot of the industry down there. You got to do something, and it was one of the only options I had.
What do you think people who are in the position you used to be in can do to make a difference?
If you do care, voice your opinion on the fact that you know things need to be changed, and call the people out that need to make that change. And enough momentum can create a wave to do anything. They know the money that they're bringing in for themselves, but they also know the impact they're making. Trust me, they really do know. They have all the research. They understand everything. They're not stupid.
That the people, united, are going to march to the drum because it's been too long that nobody's done anything. It's time people start doing things.
My name is Camila Thorndike with Rewiring America. I'm Amanda Sachs, also with Rewiring America.
Why are you guys dressed up as appliances?
We need to get fossil fuels out of our homes and daily lives, and the way to do that is replacing your gas stove with an induction.
And a heat pump. Heat pumps heat your home and cool your home 3 times more efficiently than the standard appliance. If we electrify our full economy, we'll cut fossil fuels in half, so who doesn't want that?
I grew up skiing in Oregon. Now my home valley is regularly on fire and the snow is completely unpredictable.
My best friend is Ramaphosa Nape and was displaced from her land and had a lot of water and electricity reliability issues growing up, and seeing that just exposed me to the environmental injustices prevalent in our country.
Who else was in Pretty Woman? Julia Roberts.
The guy who played George Costanza?
Oh, Jason Alexander? Yeah, Jason Alexander. Stephen Colbert. Get out of your little mansion in Connecticut. Kelly Ripa.
Regis Philbin?
He's dead.
You know what
because
killed
of
him?
climate change, yeah. So who's the basketball player who died?
Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, if he were alive.
He would have stopped it with Mamba mentality.
This is how hot it's gonna be on Christmas. Don't you people understand? Oh, it's gonna be this hot. It is too hot for Santa Claus. Stop fossil fuels!
We got a free t-shirt, so now we're wearing these.
Now we're joining the cause.
So I'm with the Hip Hop Caucus, and we're out here to stand with the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty and to stop petrochemicals. And we want to make sure that the U.S. isn't turned to a sacrifice zone by exporting fossil fuels and petrochemicals.
And tell us more about the Hip Hop Caucus exactly.
We were founded 19 years ago, and we started to focus on like the Vote or Die campaign, plus economic justice. We need to stop Cop City, and we need to make sure that we have water for our communities.
Right now we stop traffic, but that's what all these cars get for emitting fossil fuels.
I don't understand. If the government's supposed to do things that protect people and life and the civilization, they're not doing that. They're protecting the money. How serious was that climate change realization? My degree is in physics. I have a background in material sciences, quantum physics, X-ray physics. One of the things you start realizing is that nothing behaves at the higher energy or at the different atmosphere or at the different pressure and temperature. I learned the amazing chemistry of the silicon device. We all got them now, But if we don't change the world of the gasoline engine, we are not going to have a world to change.
Why do you think scientists have been ignored for so long?
Billions of dollars of subsidies going from our government to the coal, oil, and gas industries that are supporting misinformation. It's basically money. I mean, there was this recent article in the Wall Street Journal about how Exxon, even as late as the last decade, is continuing to spread misinformation and downplay climate change.
Excuse me, who should we blame for climate change?
Rich people.
Fossil fuel companies.
The fossil fuel industry.
Everyone.
The corporations.
Everyone.
My generation, that's why I'm marching.
The fossil fuel industry, the billionaires that make money off of it. It's very simple.
How have you seen the climate change in your life?
Well, it's more extreme. It's more extreme. And of course, there are no controls in the Pentagon, which is the biggest polluter on the planet.
Can you explain the climate clock to me?
So we have 5 years and 308 days to go until we hit the 1.5 degree deadline, the target that we need to keep under in global warming. The number down here shows the percentage of renewable energy. We obviously need to get to 100%. It's not just up to the government. Every single citizen can do something.
What kinds of things do you do about it?
So I have had solar panels for the past 15 years. I pay $15 a month for electricity. I have a electric vehicle. I have a heat pump to heat and cool the house. I have a heat pump water heater to heat the water. Basically, I electrified everything in my house.
After a long, hard walk of protesting climate change, there's a party at the end. The climate might be dying, but the vibes are still vibing. So I teamed up with a group called Climate Defiance. They're a climate change protesting group, and what they do is they sneak up on people who are polluting the environment, and then they very publicly shame them.
Tommy sign Willow, fuck you, man.
I got access to Climate Defiance, and I was part of a protest they did against Tommy Boudreau. Tommy Boudreau is the Deputy Secretary of the Interior. And Tommy Boudreau has said that he's gonna do a lot of really great things to curb climate change, to protect the environment, stop oil spills. But he lied. We went to a speech that he was going to give to his bosses, to his peers, to everybody in the climate change space. Here's what he did. He signed the Willow Project. The Willow Project is drilling for oil in Alaska, and it's basically one of the worst climate things that has happened in the history of America. And we followed him around outside and shamed him and yelled at him, so that way his bosses and his peers could see that he failed. And now here's the coolest thing. 2 weeks after we publicly shamed him, he resigned. Because now everybody around him knows that he's a liar. All these climate conscious people who put him in office know that he doesn't really care and know that he's a bad, corrupt politician. And I think it's pretty cool that we got a backstage pass to go see it. And I'm glad that I got to share it with you.
This is Michael Greenberg.
Can you run me through what just went down in there?
A dozen members of Climate Defiance just blocked the doors as Tommy Boudreau was trying to enter Climate Week. Then once he got up onto the panel, I directly asked him, will he come out against the Willow Project? And he was unable to respond.
Assistant Secretary Boudreau, you are a climate criminal. Will you commit to publicly opposing the Willow Project and to calling on Biden to stop this pipeline?
Nobody likes pollution, dirty air, dirty water, and I think we can frame these issues in a way that show that they will create jobs, give people meaningful livelihoods, create beautiful green spaces where we can bike and be together in community. I think people will really start saying that it's a win-win.
How did you get involved with Climate Week?
I started Climate Defiance because I wanted to create a group that both has breakthrough moments of the whirlwind and that builds power for the long term. We started off with blockading the White House Correspondents' Dinner, shut down a keynote speech by Joe Manchin. We shut down book launch party for Amy Klobuchar, who supported the Line 3 pipeline in her state. We will continue to go hard and take names and pull no punches until the people in power give us what we so desperately need.
You're not listening to the science, man. Fuck
you can yell
man.
at me, don't touch.
I'm a climate scientist. You will feel very sorry for what you're doing.
Tommy signed Willow. Fuck you, man. You signed the Willow Project. What do you have to say to young people in New York during Climate Week, Tommy? You're gonna go up to these bullshit conferences, or you're gonna address this? What do you want people to know? Aside from the fact that you're sold out, the entire administration sold out to fossil fuels. Sorry, I'm serious. Do you understand climate change, sir? Why? Two votes.
Yeah, we know.
You're listening to your budget on your two votes.
We have tried telling Biden what we need. In fact, he promised no new drilling. Joe Biden is skipping the UN Climate Ambition Summit.
You like fossil fuels?
And
You like fossil fuels?
Shame! 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 Tommy, get off it! Our planet's not for profit! Hey Tommy, get off it! Our planet's not for profit! Tommy, off fossil fuels.
I have choked on wildfire smoke. I have families in other countries who have to stay literally in one bedroom to avoid wildfires because that's the only place they have AC. And Tommy Boudreau is up there in Climate Week when he has committed ecocide. So I went there and I disrupted Tommy Boudreau and they pushed me out. He has stolen my life. He has stolen my friends' lives. He has stolen our generation's lives. And he needs to understand that we will not give him a moment of peace. That we will not give anyone who does what Tommy did a moment of peace. And that I will be back. We will be back and we will never let up till they stop doing this shit.